So who enjoys creating sprints? I personally found it a pain and something that I tend to put off until the last moment. Um, Creating them can be tedious, especially if you have complicated names such as we have here. Our sprint names are the word week, 2 digits for the year, 2 digits for an incremental number, the start date and the end date of the sprint. Now, when I want to create a new sprint, it just makes a copy of the previous one. So I've then got to go in here, edit, and fix it up to be the correct name. If you're generating sprints for several months, or as I say, if you have a complicated name, this gets very tedious and is not at all fun, which is why we wrote the Sprint Generator app. It lets you customize sprint names to suit your organization's needs using any of these components here. If you want a bit of fun, you can just select the themes. As you can see here, we have got the Justice League theme. The top part of the screen shows you your existing sprints, and from here you can edit and delete these sprints. The first step is to make sure that you have the right board, because different sprints are associated with boards. Your active sprint will appear in green. It'll also show you how many issues you have in the sprint, and if you click on that, it will show you what those tickets actually are. If there are tickets from more than one project in the sprint, it will also show you over here. Once you click on an action to edit or delete, the actions change to accept or cancel. So let's amend this one. You see there how easy it is to make a mistake when doing it the old way. So from here we can cancel or we can accept, which will commit it to Jira. So that's useful, but it's not the main point of this app. The main point of this app is to create sprints that can auto-populate these sorts of values so that you don't have to do it for each one. First thing you want to know is how many sprints are we going to create. Then, if you want quick and simple, you can just select a theme. You drag one of these components onto the work area. These are the components over here. I've chosen theme, and from there I can choose which theme I would like. Once I've done that, I just have to confirm which board, because as you know, sprints are associated with boards, so we make sure that we're going to save this to the correct board, and we can create that sprint. And there we go, it adds them to the board. Done. Let's look at some of the more complicated components. Freehand is text that will be different on every line. And so on and so on. So this is text that you will want to change on every single line. Notice as we fill these values in, the sprint name appears over here. Recurring text is text that will appear on every line. Now this is where it obviously becomes useful. For example, we may want the word sprint in every line. Notice here, if you look at the name, that we need to put a space at the end of these. So always keep your eye on the sprint name to make sure that it's looking good. Perhaps then we want a sprint number, an incremental number that will just go up for each value. Now, if we've already created a few sprints, we might not be starting at 1, we might be starting at, I don't know, 12. When you change that, it will automatically adjust the remaining sprints, and there is the name. You can add a theme to that as well if you really wanted to, and be aware when you're dragging these things in, you can position them anywhere you like. You don't have to put them at the end. Let's put a theme in there. Let's choose Justice League. Then, lastly, we might want a date or components of a date or several components of several dates. As soon as you drag the date in, it asks you what format would you like to appear over here. Now, maybe we just want today, followed by a slash, followed by, let's make it the full month name, shall we? The cadence or days between sprints is important because this is the value that will determine the increment between each of these as we fill in the date. So the first line, what is the date going to be? I'm going to just make it the 3rd. And there you see it has automatically populated all the dates. You'll notice under sprint name that these characters are in red. And that is because Jira has a maximum 30 character limit. So anything in red is not going to be saved when you commit this. So you need to have a look at that. Perhaps the thing to do here is to remove the Justice League. Now, to remove a component, you click on the X. And we still seem to have a problem. Perhaps we need to change the date. So instead of the full month, perhaps we should just choose a shorter month name. And there we go. Once you've created your template, you can save it so that it's available to you the next time you come in. And there we have it. Here are some other templates that I have created. All, when you click it, it brings up the template that I had created previously. And from there you can manage the template. If you own the template, you can make changes and overwrite it. You can make a new copy of it, or you could delete it. So there we have it, how to create a lot of sprints very easily in just a few clicks. Oh, and isn't it much more fun than the old way?